Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Kyle. I'm gonna do a review on the pay-per-view Night of Champions from last night, WWE's pay-per-view. So I'm just gonna do a quick review from top to bottom. So the show opens up with Airboom, Kofi Kingston, and Evan Bourne defending the tag team titles against the Miz and RTruth. I thought this was a good match. A good opener, a good starter and opener for the pay-per-view to really get the crowd up, and the crowd was really into the match. Airboom, Kofi Kingston, and Evan Bourne, I think are really a good tag team. I think they complement each other well, both high flyers. They're both guys that kids love and people can just get behind. So I thought it was a good idea that WWE had these guys going to be a tag team and become tag team champions. But Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne successfully defended their titles only due to a disqualification caused by the Miz, when the Miz knocked down the referee, put his hands on the referee and switched the referee. And so some people might have a problem with that, and they thought that was kind of cheap and cheesy to end the match. But I thought that there's really no other better way but to end that kind of match, because Kofi and Evan have been the tag team champs for like 2 weeks now at least, and for WWE to rebrand their tag team division, Evan Bourne and Kofi are kind of like the catalyst for that new tag team that WWE are trying to rebuild. So it wouldn't make sense to take the belt off of them so soon. And secondly, had they just gotten a straight 1, 2, 3 off the Miz and RTruth, who are also a newly found tag team like Airboom, it would have just buried them, and they would have lost some steam that they've been getting over the last few weeks since they've been paired. So I thought the way it ended I thought fairly. That way the Miz and RTruth won't get buried as a newly found tag team, and that way Kofi and Bourne won't lose the belt that they've just won not too long ago, in which I think they need to keep for a little bit longer and then bring some prestige back to the tag team division, also the tag team title belts. So that was the opening match there. Like I said, it was a good match, good opener. After that, you had after that, you had the Intercontinental Champion match with Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase. This match was alright. I really didn't expect much. Excuse me. I didn't expect much going into this match. Rhodes and DiBiase, they've known each other, since they both came into WWE and being part of the legacy. So I figured, that they would, have a decent match. And it wasn't bad, but it was pretty decent. Looking at DiBiase, how he worked in the ring, like I said, I like DiBiase over Cody Rhodes, but and I thought it was an okay, decent match, but seeing DiBiase, I think DiBiase still needs a lot more work with his in-ring skill. I don't know, it seems a little bit stiff sometimes. I think he needs to loosen up a little bit more, and I think DiBiase still has a lot to learn. I'll just say that. So Rhodes successfully defended his title against DiBiase. Then the match after that, we had a fatal 4-way where it was Dolph Ziggler, Jack Swagger. Well, it was Dolph Ziggler defending his U.S. title against Jack Swagger, Alex Riley, and John Morrison. Fatal 4-way. Boy, I tell you, I feel bad for John Morrison, because when John Morrison was the first guy to come out, and he barely got any pops whatsoever. I just think it's real sad that how John Morrison had all this steam, like in 2009 and last year, and even, a quarter part of this year, and how, since he came back from his neck surgery, how all that steam he's had just, like, evaporated, like it's just gone, like he barely gets pops anymore. I think it's really sad, because I think WWE, I don't know, I mean, Morrison is still young. He'll probably, get another chance and opportunity, but I think WWE should have capitalized when they had the chance, when Morrison was really hot last year and the year before. But anyway, Dolph Ziggler was getting the win, successfully defended his U.S. title. This Fatal 4-Way match was okay, it wasn't bad. Dolph Ziggler, who's one of my picks as a breakout star in WWE, good stuff there from him. Alex Riley had some pretty good spots as well. at times I thought he was going to win. I actually thought that Alex Riley was going to win the belt, but Dolph Ziggler ended up being the victor in that match. And then after that, we had the World Heavyweight title match, Mark Henry versus Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship. Like I said in my, my video on my thoughts on Mark Henry's big push, this was a decent match. This wasn't bad. I'm not saying it wasn't a 4-star quality match, and it wasn't the match of the night, but for what it was, for Randy Orton to be the kind of wrestler that he is, and Randy's a good wrestler. I think Randy's one of the top 10 best wrestlers of the day and of this generation. But, like I said, we have the type of athletic skills and abilities of Randy Orton, but you have a guy like, Mark Henry, who's just a big, huge powerhouse-like guy who's not the most athletic or, quickest guy in the ring. Put those two in, to see those two wrestle in the ring at Night of Champions, it was a good match. I'll say that. It wasn't a 5-star match, but it wasn't botchy and it wasn't terrible. Like I said, I thought it was a good match. And once again, Mark Henry just been a dominant heel that he's been, just dominating Randy Orton. And I think that Randy Orton, I have to get credit too for playing it off very well as the guy who he tried his very best to take down this big unstoppable juggernaut, this monster. I like the storytelling that Randy told, and even Mark Henry during this match. And he tried his best, but it didn't work out. So Mark Henry ended up getting the victory and is the new World Heavyweight Champion. And he cut a pretty funny promo I was entertained by after he won the title. And like I said, a lot of people just turned sour towards Mark Henry being the World Heavyweight Champion. But I think it could be I think it could make for some very interesting storytelling on the SmackDown brand, because like I said, Mark Henry's just been, I think in my opinion, he's been the only believable heel right now in WWE, and he's just been dominant, and he got a clean finish off Randy Orton, and that's something we don't see now in WWE, at least or in this generation of wrestling, where the bad guy gets a clean finish on the good guy without any distractions or disqualifications or cheap shots or anything like that. He got a clean finish on Orton, made him look even stronger as a heel, and he's the new world champion. Like I said, I think it would make some great storytelling on the SmackDown brand, having Henry as just this big, huge, unstoppable juggernaut heel that nobody can stop, and he's the world champion. It's like, who are you going to have against next? Because he's just taking out everybody. I think that would make some great storytelling, and I'm more curious and interested in seeing Mark Henry's push as the world champion than I was when Kane had won the world title at Money in the Bank last year. I really didn't care for Kane's run as the world champion. I thought Kane should have been world champion way back when, but once Kane lost his steam and whatnot, I wasn't interested. So I find Mark Henry's run as world champion, I find a little bit more interesting and entertaining, more so than Kane's world title run last year. But hey, and then after that, you had the Divas match. Kelly successfully defending her title against Beth Phoenix. Not much going into this match, really. I mean, it wasn't botchy. Like Kelly is mostly botching some of her matches, but this was decent. Beth Phoenix tried to get the roll up in the pin, but I think Beth Phoenix was trying to go for the I forgot the name of Beth Phoenix finishing move, but the Glam Slam. But Kelly did like a sunset flip roll up and got the pin and the win. So Kelly successfully defended her title. Then after that, you had Alberto Del Rio defending the WWE Championship against John Cena. This match was alright. I don't think Alberto has really good chemistry with John Cena, maybe because this is like their first time wrestling. Maybe they wrestle more. They have better matches together. But this wasn't bad either. Decent match. Started off pretty slow, then kind of picked up a little bit towards the middle. As the match started to come to a close, it kind of picked up a bit. Like I said, sadly, John Cena got Alberto Del Rio in the STF and made him tap. John Cena is once again your new WWE champion. He's now a 9-time WWE champion, but when you add his world title reign with his WWE Championship reign, he's now a 12-time World Heavyweight Champion. John Cena has beat Alberto Del Rio. This was this was the downer of the entire pay-per-view for me. You know, I like Alberto Del Rio. I've supported Alberto since he first came into SmackDown. Love his gimmick, his character, still do. And to see him tap to John Cena after he just won the belt at SummerSlam, like, SummerSlam wasn't even that long ago. It was like August 14th, so like 3.5 weeks. And he drops the belt to John Cena, somebody who does not need the belt. And I know they're doing this because, you know, John Cena's having a, you know, it was announced earlier this year that his match against The Rock would be a title match at WrestleMania. Although I don't think John Cena really needs a belt, you know, to make that match between him and Rock more special than what it already is, just by having The Rock wrestle again after 8 years. But I don't feel like John Cena really needs the belt right now, and keep a hold of it all the way into WrestleMania. I mean, if they're gonna put a title match between him and Rock at Mania, then have John win the title like in February or March of next year, like a month or two before the April pay-per-view WrestleMania. That would have made more sense. But to have Alberto Del Rio just since the beginning of this year, I mean, just having these huge pushes, I mean, getting these major spots, I mean, winning the biggest Royal Rumble, going to WrestleMania for the world title, winning Money in the Bank, and cashing in, becoming WWE champion, just to drop the belt right back to a guy who's won it so many times and doesn't really need it, it's very frustrating. I'm going to make a rant video on John Cena winning the WWE Championship at last night's pay-per-view. Look forward to that because I got a lot of stuff I got to say about that because it really ticks me off. So moving on, you have the main event, CM Punk versus Triple H for the no disqualification match. If Triple H loses, he resigns as COO. How can I explain this match? This is no disqualification match, so anything goes. They used a lot of weapons. They mostly use weapons more so than they did wrestling. And I understand, you know, like it's a no DQ match, but in most DQ matches, you still get a decent amount of, you know, wrestling maneuvers or whatnot. They really didn't do that much wrestling, I think. You know, if you look at the match as a whole, Punk and Triple H didn't do that much wrestling. It was more of the, you know, to beat the hell out of each other, you know, and throwing up each other against the wall or whatever. And that's fine, but I wish I would like to see him just a little bit more wrestling between the two. But even then, this match it had a lot of expectations, but how should I say this? This match, I thought this match didn't live up to the expectations that I had going into this pay-per-view for it. Because this was the main reason why I watched the pay-per-view. I mean, this is the Mark Henry match. Mark Henry was the second reason I wanted to watch this pay-per-view, but the main thing that got me sold on to this pay-per-view as a whole was the Punk Triple H main event match, and I just thought that my expectations weren't really met with this match. Like I said, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't botchy, but it wasn't that great either. You know what I mean? It was good. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was fantastic. It was just good. It was a good match. You know, and because of the no disqualification, just lots of DQs and no disqualifications, you know, lots of interference and stuff. So the Miz and RTruth came in and, you know, beating up Punk and John Cena. Then Johnny Laurinaitis comes out, you know, and tries to, because earlier during the match they had knocked down the referee, and so Johnny Ace is looking at, you know, the referee that's knocked down or whatever, and Triple H gets the pedigree on Punk and tries to pin Punk, but Johnny Ace doesn't call out a referee. But when Punk got the GTS on Triple H, Johnny Laurinaitis calls in another referee and throws him in the ring to count Triple H out. So that's pretty interesting to see what happens. It seems like Johnny Ace wants Triple H. He wanted Triple H to, you know, step down from his position so maybe he could take over the WWE. So that's a factor that'll be interesting to see tonight on Raw. And then Kevin Nash, who I think anybody can say it was predictable that Kevin Nash was going to show up at some point in time in this match. You know, coming in, he powerbombed the CM Punk, and, you know, he was beating up Triple H, and yes, he was taking down the announcer's table, about to powerbomb Triple H to the table. He turns around, and Triple H just like socks him in the face with the sledgehammer. And after that, Triple H gets back in the ring and hits him with the pedigree. And once Triple H hit him with the pedigree, I knew it was over because Punk had already gotten like 2 pedigrees earlier during the match, plus a power bomb from Kevin Nash, plus a 3rd pedigree from Triple H altogether. So I knew right there, you know, having 3 pedigrees throughout the match, and then Kevin Nash's powerbomb, I knew there was no way that Punk, that they're gonna have Punk, to get up from all that. So I knew it was a done deal. And Triple H got the pin, 1, 2, 3, and the win. My only concern for this is that I'm really afraid that since Triple H beat CM Punk and got the pin, I'm really afraid that Punk will start to lose his steam. I don't know. I mean, in a way they kind of had to do it. They kind of had to have Punk to lose. So, I mean, maybe so this Triple H Punk feud can continue to move on and go. I mean, maybe they'll fight again at Hell in a Cell in the next couple of pay-per-views or the next month or two. So, they kind of have to get it going. And honestly, I already knew from the beginning that when they added that Triple H would, if he loses to Punk, that he would have to resign as COO. I already knew that when they added that stipulation, I knew heads up, like, there's no way Triple H is going to lose, because since they added that stipulation, I know for a fact Triple H is not going to lose. So I already knew, but I still had that glimmer of hope that at least Punk would win, because I am a Punk mark, and I'm not afraid to admit that. But still, like I said, I'm just really afraid since Triple H beat Punk that Punk will lose his steam. Because anybody who's ever followed Triple H's career knows Triple H and knows that when any young star starts to seem like they're getting some traction and they're getting some steam and they're rolling, Triple H comes in, has to put his 2 cents in it, put his foot in the door, and get in that spotlight, get in that main event match with that new rising superstar, and just quench his fire. That's how Triple H is. Triple H has done it with Jeff Hardy. Triple H has done it with Goldberg. When Goldberg came over to WWE, he buried him. Triple H has done it with Booker T. Triple H has done it with Edge. So, I mean, and so many other wrestlers that Triple H has buried, when he's done it to Randy Orton. So, all these guys that I've just named here, and there are a few others, but the others I just named, but the ones that I just named are just an example of how Triple H, when they get traction, they get some steam, how Triple H just buries them. And yes, even after Triple H buries them, Randy Orton still one of the main guys. Edge, moved up to the next level in his career. And even Jeff Hardy, was really hot in his career. During his last years in WWE, he got his big break in WWE. But still, the fact that Triple H stomped on them and buried them, it took them a longer time. It took Edge and Orton and Jeff Hardy a longer time to get right back up to where they were trying to get in the first place. And that's what I'm afraid might happen to CM Punk now that Triple H has beaten them. I hope that's not the case. I hope Punk can come out as strong than ever out of this match with Triple H, losing to Triple H. So I'm gonna rate the Night of Champions pay-per-view 3 out of 5. It wasn't a perfect pay-per-view, like I would say, like SummerSlam and Money in the Bank, but it wasn't a terrible pay-per-view either. It was a good pay-per-view. It had some good matches from top to bottom. There were interesting matches and whatnot. Like I said, the only downside for me out of this pay-per-view was the John Cena match winning the title back, which I don't think he needs, and I'm going to make a rant video about that, so look forward to that, guys. And also Punk losing to Triple H due to the fact that I just think that Punk's not gonna lose some steam, and they're gonna press the restart button on CM Punk. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Night of Champions pay-per-view. Please leave a comment, like the video if you like it, subscribe. Later.